What's up, folks? Thanks for jumping on. All right, let's talk Softbank. One of the things, um, if you go to my Instagram, I brought up Softbank and its Vision Fund on my Instagram because they are one thing that they are for sure is creative, and this whole deal that we're going to talk about today shows their creativity. And there's a lot to learn from some of the things that they've done. I've got a meme you guys can check out on Instagram where they had released a report, and it basically, they've been having a lot of problems, lost $12 billion recently on the WeWork deal. But in their report, instead of calling the losses, is what they were, instead of just calling them losses like most funds do, they actually refer to them as net profit outflow. So it's just like another one of their ways of being super creative. Like, obviously, if you have net profit, but it flows out of the business, it's just a loss. It's just a loss. So I had a meme that poked a little fun at that. But it doesn't mean that I don't watch what they do because what they've done with their fund, and a lot of people, just because they did a lot of venture capital deals, felt like, and it's been called a venture capital fund, but it's actually not at all. In fact, one of the deals that we went into in the private equity fund incubator, and one of the lessons, I break down a deal that they did that was a very creative transaction between three friendly funds, essentially, where they triangulated a deal, and all three kind of created value out of thin air. And a lot of what they're looking to do is just, at the end of the day, it's kind of sure bets. It's sure things. That's what they're, I would say, they're not venture capital, they're not real estate, they're not stocks, they're not derivatives. It's like, where can we have a sure thing and make money from it? And so that's what they were doing in venture capital, is they realized, hey, we have enough money to go into this venture capital space. We can invest in the winner. And, there was this whole thing of unicorns, and we'll find the business and we'll just make it a unicorn. And so it worked really well in a lot of cases because they just put billions of dollars into a business. And so if they decide, hey, WeWork, you're going to be our baby here, and we're going to just make it so that you have other competitors in the space go away. And it was working really well, and up until actually the WeWork deal, where they were just able to either buy all the competitors, scare away the competitors, because they knew that the Vision Fund had raised $100 billion and just had access to all this money, and nobody wanted to compete with the deal that they were investing in. All that worked really well until WeWork ended up losing $12 billion, and the market just changed. Before the internet businesses were able to go public, now we're in a world where SPACs are actually being talked about, something that was kind of a forgotten and little used thing on with investment banks is now this thing that even Ty Lopez is talking about, creating a SPAC. I think I talked about I did a whole video on the Bill Ackman SPAC. So it just, everything has changed. That model of, we're going to be the unicorn, we're basically going to create the unicorn, we're going to take that unicorn public, we're going to, make a ton of money in the stock market, was gone, because just IPOs have slowly gone away. So what they were basically doing was being a financial bully and kind of pushing their way into markets, and so it was interesting. So now what they've done, and this is why I think a lot of this is all about just thinking creatively when it comes to financial markets and financial opportunities. So this whole thing with the call options, and who knows the full implications, but a lot of people are saying that basically they were if not the main factor, certainly a contributing factor into both the rally in the tech stocks, um, and the recent kind of, you know, what decrease in the market in these last few days, because they use a strategy that I want to kind of break down to you guys, just so you think creatively and understand that even, when it comes to the stock market, you don't want to do things the normal way. And if your only option is to do it the normal way, is pick another game. And that's what I admire about Vision Fund. It's like, okay, they come to the party, they're like, all right, this game is working really well for us. Let's go in, let's go in, let's go in. Oh, this game doesn't work anymore for us. Let's just stop the venture capital game. Let's go here and try this whole different game that has nothing to do with the first game. And so this game was leveraging call options. And I don't want to get into the weeds, but give you a little bit of breakdown. I mean, obviously, most of you guys are going to know what a call option is. Call option is, instead of buying the stock, you buy an option to buy the stock. That option is going to go up if the stock goes up. And I won't even get into puts and all that. Now, when you buy that call option, there's somebody else on the other side of that option that has the stock, that essentially is willing to sell you that stock at the low price that you bought the option to buy it at. And so if you bought the option at $50, it goes to $60. They have the stock, but they're going to sell it to you at $50. You make that $10 difference. Now, with an option, it has a delta. And again, not to get too complicated, but the delta represents an additional value that just represents that, hey, this is an option. You're only paying almost, there's a lot of kind of value that's in there, but you can just say it's a premium because of the fact that you don't have to spend $50 on the stock. You can buy this option. So what happens on the other end of that trade is that if you buy more and more options, that institution has to have that stock kind of in their coffers to protect them in case the stock just runs up to infinite whatever. So what they realized was, we have billions and billions of dollars. We can go and just buy options and buy options and buy options, and literally they spent billions, of which nobody would ever do. Like, that's not something that financial institutions are necessarily prepared for. So, but every time they bought the options, they were increasing the demand of the options. So those options are going to be worth more, but they're also increasing the demand of the stock. And because those institutions have to go and buy the whole stock, and all Softbank has to do is buy the option. And so that option's going up. There's more demand in the options. There's more demand in the stocks, and and then they have more money that they've made, and then they're dumping that money into more options and causing the institution to buy more stocks. And so it's a very, very like simple but ingenious strategy, and just reflects the thinking of a financier. So totally made fun of them for the whole net profit outflow thing. But this is one of those that is really, really interesting. Just shows creative thinking. I don't think that for the long haul, it may not be the best strategy or the best thing to have done. I think a lot of investors are just like, unless you think like a financier, you're going to look at that and just be like, dude, like, what are y'all doing? Like, this is crazy. Like, that is a crazy strategy. And, from an outsider, it's like, oh, y'all are just all over the place. But the more that I study like some of their transactions, the more it's just really obvious that, they're really thinking and with a financier's mindset of, we don't care what we do. We'll go over here, we'll find two other funds, we'll triangulate a strategy that involves a hotel and some public stocks and all that, and create value for everybody. And so it's kind of creating this value out of thin air. That's essentially, what they did with this option thing, where it was, a strategy to go into a market, push the whole market up without really having to do anything. Now they've exited out, markets, dipped a bit, but I'm very curious if it ever comes out. It's been reported right now that they definitely pulled some billions out of the market. But just encouragement to you guys. Even in our world, when it comes to the deals, when it comes to investing, when it comes to doing royalty deals, whatever type of deal you're trying to structure, the key to all of this is thinking outside the box. And anytime you see yourself going into a market and you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, and you're playing on the same level playing field as everyone else, and you don't have any advantage, then just know that there's somebody else that you think is playing on a level playing field that does have the advantage. And that's definitely what happens in the stock market. There are a lot of people that think, oh yeah, like there's, all a level playing field here. And there are definitely a lot of people that are pulling the strings, doing things that actually aren't even as honest as what Softbank pulled here. They definitely have the advantage. So you want to get into a game where you've got some kind of advantage. Thanks so much for checking out this quick video. I thought that was some interesting news and I wanted to share. Be sure to subscribe and join me on the next live. Talk to y'all soon.